Yeah, so Joe, the persona is that your name is not Joe Testani. Your name is surprise Joe Smith. You're from Arkansas, right?
Arkansas, yeah.
Grew up on a farm and you love horses for some reason. You love horses. Your persona is you're a recent UofR graduate. You're a comp sci and a philosophy major. Your extracurricular, most of your UofR, you worked at the career center. You are a peer career advisor. Unfortunately, you're so dedicated to the career center job, you didn't have enough time to study. Your GPA is sort of below average. Like, I don't know, like, what's his GPA? Is it?
So 2.8.
It's a 2.8. Okay. You're president of the Salsa Club, and you're applying for this Apple software engineering position as a recent graduate. All right. So this is sort of the person, and you try to add. If you want to add things to it, I will give you the freedom to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you could add more things to it. If you want to add any other cool extra guy or something like that.
Sure.
So Sid, we have two questions for you. So do you want to go with the first one?
Yeah, before we do get started, welcome to Apple, Joe. Do you have any questions for us before we get started?
No, I'm just really excited to be here, and I think this is such a great opportunity for me, and I feel fortunate to be able to spend some time with you guys. So thank you so much for this. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, so are we. So Joe, let's start off by hearing a little about you. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, growing up in rural Arkansas, I think I never really imagined myself sitting here at Apple, 4 years later. I think it's been a really great journey. I think I've learned a ton over my time at the University of Rochester. I really felt fortunate to be able to be involved in a variety of things, both through my majors of, comp sci and philosophy, but also through all the things I've done outside of class. I feel like I've really grown as a person and really learned what it means to be in diverse settings and also think more critically about solving problems, which I think University of Rochester is just expressly kind of positioned to help students do. So I've enjoyed my 4 years. I'm looking forward to the next stage of my career and really jumping into something where I can help a company really kind of advance what they're trying to do and solve problems for them.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. That was that's pretty cool. It seems like you definitely had a lot of complex challenges thrown at your way, and you definitely persevered. And University of Rochester, that seems. See, we heard about that school, right? We did. It seems like a good school. Yeah, but welcome to Apple, Joe, and we're excited to be having this conversation. So, our next question for you is, Joe, like among all these things that you've been through, so how do you handle rejection? And tell us about a time that you had to go through something like that.
Well, my second year at U of R, I wanted to get an internship, and I applied for about 130 internships, and I got rejected from all of them. I think it was really tough for me. I think I'd always been really successful. I was a valedictorian in my high school. I was a cross-country athlete in high school, and I was one of the top runners in my state. And so I think this is something that was really difficult. But I realized that I was really kind of conveying the wrong things to the organizations. I think my class year and the skills that I had at the time weren't really conducive. And I think I might have not been applying to the right things in some cases, nor did I realize that how important relationships were. So the following year, I kind of approached it very differently, thought more critically about the network of alumni that we have, some of the upper class students that had gone on to get great internships. I started asking more questions and listening. And so I think I learned a ton from that, and mostly how to approach that process very differently because it's really competitive. And so that's how I got here. I networked with a number of alumni, learned a little bit more about the Apple opportunity, and then thought better about how to present myself to really position. And I've obviously, had some challenges, academically. I haven't done as well as I think I have. I had some really big hiccups my first year in adjusting to U of R, but I think I've learned from that as well. And I think I understand the skills. I know what to be done in my second 2 years at U of R. We're really strong academically, but I also had some great internships that allowed me to really excel as well.
That's very, very interesting, Joe. Thank you for that response.
No problem.
Follow-up question I have is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I think obviously we think a lot about this, and my friends and I talk a lot about this at U of R, but I think it's really, I want to be an organization where I feel like I can contribute, that I can solve some things. I'm also interested in continuing to learn. So an environment that allows me to continue to learn, but so much is changing rapidly in the sector in terms of computer science. So it could go in a variety of directions. I think it's going to be largely dependent upon the team I land on and what I can contribute to them, what I can gain. But I want an opportunity to kind of continue to evolve and pivot and adapt to the opportunities in front of me. So definitely in computer science in some capacity. And I think I'm looking forward to what it presents itself. But am I working on something that I really feel strongly about? I think this is why the Apple team in terms of the iWatch healthcare is really something that resonates really well with me, because a lot of growing up in a place that's really rural and has really poor healthcare and the population there, I think we can make a big difference. And if that's something I can marry both my interest and skills along with some of my areas that really inspire me, I think that's going to be the key thing for me within the next 5 years.
That's a wrap on the interview. I think that was very impressive. Shafuz, do you want to hire Joe?
I mean, yeah, I don't know the GPA anymore, man. I didn't think.
No, we don't care about the GPA anymore. That was actually very impressive. I love how you swung in the Apple Watch. That was a masterpiece. And then
I'm pretty much undefeated on interviews since 2002. So like I'm pretty, whatever I interview for, I've gotten. So this is my wheelhouse. So I'm good to go.
wow.